So we've been having turkeys run through my dad's backyard. And I need to be pretty quiet because they can be pretty skittish. How cool is that?
Hey guys! This week while we were editing, we noticed that we were a little bit all over the place. So we're just gonna fill in some of the pieces for you.
It's really difficult when we're trying to get a number of things done in preparation for this flight. And we're going through such extremes of like bored and busy, anxious and stressed.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster.
Without further ado, let's get into it. So Kirra and I are just chilling today, and we're hanging out here with my dad, watching Mars Perseverance rover about to land, and we got a COVID test done yesterday because Kirra unfortunately has already had COVID, and we have to do another test within 72 hours before we fly. So we want to make sure that she comes up negative before we pay the money to get this test done to go.
Photobombed.
And thankfully, on that note, it was great news today, and we know that Kirra's negative. So that is excellent news going forward, and knowing that hopefully it should be smooth sailing from here.
Hopefully everything goes well with our next tests and we'll be on a flight in about a month.
So this is where it's using its camera, pinpointing where it needs to be.
Yeah, and moving itself.
This is so cool.
Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about 300 meters off the surface of Mars.
300 meters, that's 30 stories.
That's wild.
About 20 meters off the surface.
What?
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance.
Hey, right on!
Right on!
That's so cool. That's so
Right
cool.
on.
That's so cool. First picture.
Has just put the first image from Perseverance on the surface of Mars.
Well, that's us watching the Martian landing of Perseverance rover. So cool.
So we tried to book in for our PCR COVID tests, which is something we need to do 72 hours before we leave Toronto to get on our flight. And
Had originally booked through FlyClear.
yeah, which is through Shoppers, which is a drugstore over here. Everything was going well. They asked us sort of a few questions in a questionnaire, and we then found out that their policy is that they will not test anyone who has previously tested positive for COVID, which I have.
It's kind of a crapshoot because they make you pay beforehand and don't tell you this until the last minute.
Yeah, and they also don't care whether you've had a negative test since then.
As we have. So we ended up finding a place for Kirra to go within Barrie to get her test done, but they didn't really make it any more reassuring, as they said they need a 48-hour window to guarantee your results, and we only have a 72-hour window.
On top of that, they only send their results out to get tested once a day.
At 1 p.m.
And our flight is at midday, so we'd
That
be
gives
cutting it
us
close.
A 1 hour window essentially on that third day beforehand.
So right now we're waiting a week just so it's a little bit closer to the time that we need to go, and we'll try and find you somewhere that we feel a little bit more comfortable with.
At this point, I don't even care if it means that we have to book her in for more than one PCR test.
Yeah.
But it's incredibly stressful to know that this is how tight the deadlines are running and things are still up in the air.
Yeah. Good morning. It is pretty late in the morning, to be honest, but Ayla and I are just starting our day, and we're just sitting here sort of organizing all the things that we need to do before we go. Ayla's writing a little list.
Hey.
And let's get some of these things done. Morning, we got woken up this morning by the people doing the window. Now that's all done. I've just come down so I can make some breakfast. And while I do that, I'm gonna move all of this stuff back over to where it's supposed to be while that's cooking. There is nothing quite like bacon and eggs in the morning.
Breakfast was great.
Okay.
Except you're a grub.
I'm not a grub, you're a grub.
You're making me grub.
Ayla is a total grub. She got sesame seeds everywhere. And then I was like cuddling with her and I got one in my hair from her and she thinks that it was me.
That was all you.
Right back. Total right back.
Moving to another country, correct? Hello? I'm moving to Australia.
Ayla's just on the phone to Virgin trying to cancel her phone plan and they're being real difficult. They keep trying to give her options of like, oh, what about this? Don't you need your number at some point? And she's like, no, I don't.
It's like such an issue to just like cancel my phone line and then I'll get a completely new one when I come back. I don't even know if I'll be Virgin when I come back, so who knows, right?
I have a flight booked with Air New Zealand, and our first flight is with you guys. On a regular day, what does Air Canada charge for an extra bag? So Air Canada has now said that it's Air New Zealand that would be charging us, or that they charge us on behalf of Air New Zealand. So it's up to Air New Zealand to find the price. But when we first called Air New Zealand, he said it wasn't up to them. So I'm very confused. So now we call them. So we had previously not realized that our actual e-ticket was on our email until very recently. And I've just had a quick little look through our e-ticket and it actually tells us that our second checked bag is $240, which means we both have two extra checked bags at the moment, which means that'll be around $500, which means we're going to have to figure out fitting everything into two bags that weigh 23 kilos. We can do it. And if worse comes to worse, we can look at trying to ship some things over if we really don't want to get rid of anything.
So would it be $240 for me to add on my longboard?
I'd say so.
No!
Longboard might be something we can send though. So we got a lot of things done in the last day or so.
I needed to make sure that I had all of my banking information sorted out, so I got some of that started. There's still some things that I'm wanting to make sure that those are taken care of very last minute, but also making sure that my financials are set up here to take care of any unfinished business that I have in Canada while I'm away.
I made a call to FEG to try and check up on our refund, and it really wasn't super reassuring. Basically, they told me to send another email through the same way that we sent in for our refund. We did get another email back, which
From the same person.
which
Which
means,
makes it a little more reassuring that way.
We do feel like it at least is going to come through, but that might be a nice little surprise when we get to Australia.
Yeah, just something we're waiting on. And we signed up for my last doctor's appointment, which is kind of nerve-wracking. This will be my last chance for full physical checkup and making sure that I have all the hormones that I need on board before we leave the country. I'm only allowed to have 3 months worth of medication, and it could be a bit of a precarious timeline for me to have in terms of finding new doctors and sources of medication while in Australia. All that being said, I'm feeling pretty good and reassured and confident about what we're getting into. There's a couple loose threads that really keep this exciting, but at the end of the day, I think we've got an adventure ahead.
If any of you are going through the process that we are and have any questions, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please give it a like and subscribe and turn on the bell notifications.
And honestly, as many hoops and jumps as there are on a journey like this, highs and lows, obstacles, all of it, do not let these hurdles prevent you from doing the things that you love. If you have something crazy in mind, don't leave your dreams in a journal.
Bye guys.